What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the end of 2023, and a lot of people do their top 10 lists or they just do different lists. But we're gonna give you a kind of like a list. It's real short, but we want to hear what your thoughts are for the question that we're gonna give ourselves. So we're about to ask yourself, what is the song of the decade for the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s?
Yeah.
But we're not pop, not country, rock and roll. And then you tell us, what do you think is the quintessential song? So let's start with the 60s. So who gets
So
it?
are we? But is this for popularity or is this for the actual the song is good?
Or who changed music? Who changed music? So for example, the 60s, it'd be easy to say something like Sergeant Pepper, but then you would be like, well, what about Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Zeppelin changed music. They
Yeah.
changed it, but so did the Beatles. I think some of these are going to be hard, and it's very subjective. But tell us your thoughts. All right, so let's me and you pick
All right.
for the 60s.
So I mean, you obviously got Dazed and Confused in there. You got a whole lot of love in there.
Was
as
that
well.
though, or yeah? I guess they did both in '69.
Yeah, that came out in
Barely.
69.
Okay. All right.
You got Jimi Hendrix in there with something like Voodoo Child.
You got the Doors with Music Over and the End.
And LA One was 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think you could throw the Beatles Hey Jude in there too. I mean, that's a super iconic
As
song.
the song of the decade, the most iconic song of. I think for the most iconic, you got to take the Doors out, because the Doors are amazing, but they're not on the level
kinda
of the
obscure.
Beatles and Zeppelin.
Yeah. I think it's between Beatles and a Zeppelin song. What are you thinking for Zeppelin?
For Zeppelin, I mean, Dazed and Confused, right? I mean,
Doom doom.
I mean that was the gunshot, right? That was the firing. All right, so what would be the Beatles' quintessential? Besides the fact that they ushered in rock bands, in the sense of
Maybe Sympathy for the Devil might be in there too.
is that in there for?
That's
Oh
in the
man,
60s.
oh, I still don't think that's the quintessential song though. That doesn't beat Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, I mean it's fire.
Well, see, I'm not a giant Beatles fan, so the Beatles wouldn't win for me, but I do know their impact. But it's like I think on this channel even said the Beatles laid the groundwork, and then it's sort of like, it's almost like the Beatles found the mountain, and then Zeppelin put the flag on top.
Yeah, you said shot the gun. I'd say Jimi Hendrix loaded the gun.
You're right,
or
right.
Chuck Berry made the gun. Jimi
Yeah,
Hendrix
yeah,
loaded
yeah,
the gun.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Beatles polished it, and then
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin was like,
All right, so it's a Zeppelin song. We'll go with Dazed and Confused.
yeah.
Let's
I mean, I'm
pick.
not mad at that. Sure.
I mean, A Whole Lot of Love is good, but I think you got to pick something off the first album.
Yeah, and
right.
we could say Days of Confused.
All right, so our first pick is Dazed and Confused for the 60s. Quintessential. Now, the 70s is going to get, I think, a little harder. So for the 70s, what is the quintessential song? And as much as we haven't...
I think I got it down to 2 or 3.
All right, tell me, because I was going to say one that's not on
It's
the channel
either going
much.
to be Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, I think that's got to win.
You suck. That's so good.
Comfortably Numb. That might have to win. Or
Ooh.
Freebird. That might have to win.
I think I love Freebird, but I don't think that's your quintessential song of the decade. I was gonna say a Van Halen song. Does Van Halen make the cut
So what Van Halen song? Eruption?
for yeah? I guess for the yeah, but that I don't think that's the one then. And what about are we gonna? I mean, Black Sabbath, Rush. I mean, you're talking about moving pictures.
Oh,
was in the
2112?
70s. Yes. What is the quintessential? I think now we're talking about what is the song that encapsulates everything great about the 70s? Man, I think you got it with Bohemian
I
Rhapsody.
mean, it kind of has to win. So
It
let's
has
say
everything.
Let's say that wins, but then we'll do a runner-up because that's. I mean, it's just perfect, you know.
All
And
right,
it's-
well,
we
let's
all
do a
know it,
runner-up.
But a runner-up, I think I'd go Comfortably Numb. I mean, it's just perfect.
I think you're right. Dude, I think you're right, dude. I don't want to argue that at all. I don't want to argue that at all. All right, that's the runner-up. All right, for the
right.
60s, real quick, what was the runner-up?
I'd say Hey Jude was a runner-up.
Yeah.
Voodoo Child was a runner-up.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I love that.
That's a runner-up
All the
too.
Vietnam War, anti-war stuff is amazing.
Yeah, I think that could be a runner-up too. So I think those are runner-ups for that.
All right, so we just did the 70s. Now the 80s.
80s.
I mean, now we're talking Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Poison. You know, those are some of the biggest bands.
I mean,
quintessential. I don't think.
we can.
Get the
I was
Guns N'
about to say
Roses.
you could say. Oh, I think I might have one though. Oh, okay, all right. I got two big ones. All right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the obvious pick, "Welcome to the Jungle," which is
I
all
hate
know
to
it.
say it, but I think it is
But
the quintessential
There's
song.
another one which is Master of Puppets, which was in the 80s, and that thing is a fireball. Master of Puppets is that's quintessential 80s.
Well,
too.
then you have number one and a runner up right there.
Which one do you think is number one? You think?
I think Welcome to the Jungle. I know it's all played
But
out.
what about Sweet Child of Mine? Does that beat it?
Nah, it was the Welcome to the Jungle video. I remember hearing them talk about the record hadn't sold for like 7 months. They made some kind of favor call to MTV to play the video at 3 a.m. in the morning. They said we will play this one time at 3 a.m. when nobody's watching as a favor, and they played it and it caught fire, dude. They changed music, dude. They erased glam rock. They changed the face of music for the 80s.
Another one might be Dr. Feelgood's another one.
I love
Kickstart My
Dr.
Heart
Feelgood.
is another one.
Motley Crue, definitely.
Jump is another one from Van Halen. Is
Right,
fire.
the 1982
It's
album.
perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
What else? Those are all fire.
What about the no? What about Moving Pictures was 80s, wasn't it? Wasn't it 81 or 82? I said 70s. Tom Sawyer. Ooh, that's tough. I'm moving Master of Puppets out and putting Tom Sawyer in that spot as the runner up.
It's so fire.
If not the number one. Now look, obviously, look behind us. Look what we got. So we are biased. That's why we want you to put your your essentials in there. Your
I'm not mad
song.
at Tom Sawyer, but I mean, does it beat Welcome to the Jungle on that iconic level though? It doesn't. I mean, nothing beats Welcome to the Jungle. But is it a better song? Now that's debatable. You know. Now we know who's more popular. Who wins that battle?
I think it might be a better song though, because I mean, dude, nobody else on earth can make that song. That song can only be made by one band. You know,
that's fire.
I mean,
I could give it to Tom Sawyer.
That's why with Bohemian Rhapsody is so amazing. Only one band could do that. You know, but Welcome to the Jungle, it is comparable to other
like
great
Motley
rock.
Crue or something. Or it's like insanely good, but it's like. I mean, it's got that Motley Crue vibe.
So I'm willing to put Tom Sawyer almost as the number one. As the
me too. We could put Tom Sawyer number one.
All right.
And then Welcome to the Jungle, runner
number
up.
two.
And Master of Puppets, another runner up.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Tell us what you think about our choices.
And plus, we might be like leaving out, missing some big ones.
Well, we're just going Tommy and the Who and a bunch of stuff.
We're going off the top of the head. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now the 90s.
Yeah. Okay.
The 90s is we. This is how we came up with this. We were talking in the car and we said we should do a video on this, and we said the 90s. The 90s is just so obvious.
Yeah, but I wouldn't pick it. But it is obvious for the iconic level.
Yeah,
it's Teen Spirit for the 90s.
Yeah, Spirit is the quintessential song of the 90s.
Now, I would say for the 90s, that one is like, sure, it's huge, like it's the biggest song, but I don't think, I mean, you can't say that's the best song from the 90s.
No, because you got Rage Against the Machine.
You have Metallica also going crazy in the 90s as well. You have Guns N' Roses going absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
You have other bands just doing work in the 90s.
Yeah.
Green Day was going crazy as well. So, I mean, I'd say for the 90s.
But Nirvana changed the face of music.
They did.
Like they changed,
and that song
everything.
Is like triple platinum, quadruple platinum.
We haven't listened to a lot of Pearl Jam, and Pearl Jam came on. We were listening to it today, and we were like, I mean, I think Nirvana opened the door for even Pearl Jam, or maybe you guys can tell us to Pearl Jam.
It sure sounded like it for their sound.
I mean, the Seattle scene was just broken open by Nirvana.
Yeah, I mean, but.
Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, you had all kinds of great 90s bands.
It's the most iconic and it's the biggest song, but it's not the best song. So are you gonna vote Teen Spirit as number one over November Rain, over
as the quintessential song of the 90s? I would have to say Teen Spirit is the quintessential.
Oh yeah. No.
Like it is
for 90s. I thought of one. So there's November Rain. There's what was the Metallica song? The the slow one.
Sandman? No.
That's on the album.
Yeah.
Nothing Else Matters. That
Very
one is
good.
huge. That's a big one.
Something in the Way, though. I mean, Nirvana does got a catalog for you.
That's on the same album too. All right, well, let's do the runner-up because that's another example of Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like the biggest. It has to win.
Yeah.
So let's do a runner-up.
All right.
So for runner-up,
so we got Teen Spirit is quintessential.
Is locked.
All right. And man, there's Jane's Addiction. There's
what about so there's November Rain in there? I mean, I think it has to be, although it doesn't sound like anything else from the 90s.
Quintessential, though.
It's one of the best songs
to me,
ever.
The only problem with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 is they were probably some of those songs were conceived in the late 80s.
Teen Spirit came out in 91. And
did it?
And Use Your Illusion came out in 91. So, I mean, this is the same playing field.
Well, on the Use Your Illusion album, you're going to say November Rain is the quintessential song on that?
I think you have to.
On the two double albums, is that right? Sheesh.
The two albums.
Yeah. All right.
But there's also, what was the one with Metallica? I keep forgetting the name. Nothing Else Matters.
Well, to me, Guns N' Roses already scored the 80s. I don't think they scored the 90s. They continue to do great work. I would put Rage Against the Machine in as the other.
Killing in the Name of?
Yeah, or Bulls on Parade.
Ooh,
as the next quintessential.
That's true.
This don't sound like anything else. Bam! Here we are. The 90s has stamped with our sound.
I would put Bulls on Parade at number 1 gladly, but I know we can't do it.
That's our runner-up then.
Bulls on Parade. I'm not mad at that at all. That song is on the level, which is one that got snubbed, on the level of the Immigrant song, because that song is dun, 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 but that song's not beating Bohemian Rhapsody. But I think those two riffs are on par with each other, almost, like maybe just a little bit. Fire.
Yeah, because although you might have, like, you just use Zeppelin with Immigrant Song, man, dude, the songs that were the quintessential songs were like, they were a mixture of rock and like the Elton Johnny sound. Like they had a mixture.
We're only doing rock, but and
if you were going to say metal, that's different.
And if you do all around, rock is gonna get beat by some people. Like Michael Jackson probably owned the 80s.
But this is a top 10 type list. We're trying to say
we're only doing rock, which rock would win some decades. Like I think rock won 70s for sure. Rock won 90s. I think rock got beat in the 80s.
By what?
By Michael Jackson with Thriller or something, I mean, he's like quadruple platinum.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Or Bad. I mean, you could just name it Thriller, Bad.
With European invasion, there was a lot happening in the 80s. I'll give you that. That's so funny. Yes, Michael Jackson.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
Yes.
So, I mean, what was our 80s one? Tom Sawyer, but I mean it's Michael Jackson. But we're only doing rock.
And even though in the 70s you with Pink Floyd you did The Wall, but dude, you got Dark Side of the Moon. You even got Wish You Were Here.
We said Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, that's just not fair.
I do think it's quintessential.
What is?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
I think it embodies the entire decade.
Even We Will Rock You could win that spot, I think.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys are going to have the same mental challenge that we do doing this. Let us know in the comments so we can read what you think is the quintessential song and runner-up for the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. 2000 and beyonds, I mean, that's up to you if you want to put... I mean, to me, I would say the Japanese bands, the Japanese girl bands start to become the quintessential sounds, going into the 2000s. Because where was rock? I mean, you're going to say the Foo Fighters? I mean, where are you going to go?
Yeah, I mean...
So it gets challenging.
Yeah. So, put in the comments what you would put for each decade, because that'll be very interesting to see. What did you guys think of our list? So we're going to see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we're out.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year. Peace.